Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I follow the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. What about my employees?
You're not following the rules.
I am following the rules. My tables are inside. Just because the health department has a whole process to go through that takes however long that takes, I have to close my business for that time? Are you going to pay my rent? Are you going to pay my rent?
You chose to make...
Another satisfied business owner with the people and the powers that be and the way that they run coronavirus. That's Anton Van Happen, a.k.a. Nick the Greek, in Ventura, California. Nick has implored all of the restaurants around him, screw what they say, open up. We need to save jobs. We need to start living our lives. We need to make sure that people aren't in food lines. We need to give our economy a shot in the arm. It wasn't over. So he said it. Are you going to pay my rent? Have you ever noticed the people that tell you they got to shut down, the people that got to tell you they got to do this, the people that got to tell you do that? A, they don't have to do that. And B, rarely do they have, if ever, do they have skin in the game. Do they have skin in the game? Nope. Why don't they have skin in the game? Because they chose not to have skin in the game. They're doing something else. Most likely, they're into some bureaucracy job that is safe from all kinds of crap because they'll appeal to the federal government. Please print more money, please, so we can all keep our jobs and our fat pensions. So I can tell business owners who've put everything on the line that they must shut down. I've always taken this virus serious. In fact, I will go back a year ago. We started talking about what was going on in China and that something potentially was coming. In January, we continued to say something is coming. People aren't paying attention. And then it arrived in Italy and it became more serious. People gave Trump all kinds of crap about the fact that he kept saying cure can't be worse than a disease. Well, the cure's become worse than the disease. And the way that these governors and the way these bureaucrats are running this thing is ridiculous. First of all, we should be about choice. If you choose to go outdoors and to go frequent a restaurant outside or to take away, that's a you thing. Got zero problems with that. If you want to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine, again, a you thing. We have got people that a year ago would never in their wildest dreams believe that they would be in a food bank line. And yet they've waited hours to get food, to get a random bag of goodies that they have no idea what's in it. He's not the only one. People should be pissed. We have followed the rules. What's the one thing? Producer Phil, nature, what will nature do to you?
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up. Nature's nature. Every scientist said this thing's going to do what it does. We need to do as much as we can using common sense, but common sense has lost the plot. Somewhere along the line, it has become a let's shut everything down. Let's hide from this. 9 months ago, we're going to do this for a couple weeks, maybe a month. We're going to try to flatten the curve. Flatten the curve became find a cure. Find a cure became everybody needs to get vaccinated. Everybody needs to get vaccinated means we may have to wear masks and never go back to anything normal. That is crap. Calculated risk in life. That's what it's about. Every one of us take one. Business owners, entrepreneurs, individuals. The backbone of this country is our small business. The backbone of this country is small and medium-sized businesses, yet at the same time, they're being crushed by bureaucrats and BS. Anton wasn't finished.
I never served one single person outside. I did all takeout food and delivery to what exactly I was supposed to be doing. That's exactly what I did. I did not break any, and there's not even a law, I did not break any rule.
There is a law that you're breaking right now by operating without a permit.
Because you guys put this closure on my restaurant.
Right. The restaurant is already closed. The permit has been suspended. However, your refusal to close warrants
because what am I going to do if I close? Are you going to pay my rent?
No.
Nope, and that sums it up. No, I don't have to pay your rent. Why would I have to do that? I got a job with a pension. I don't have to pay your rent. This is the insanity that we're going through. If masks work, which evidence says, yeah, masks work. Are they perfect? No. I got a mask yesterday. I threw a picture up on the old interwebs and at Chad Benson Show on Twitter and Instagram. It's a Santa mask. It is a mask with a big fake white beard, and it's a red mask, like, and that's passable. It's not. There's nothing about that has anything to do with stopping anything. To be honest with you, the fact that I got that fake beard may be even better than the regular mask. I've got other masks around here. None of those are medically sound, but we wear them. You get out there, you do the best you can, you social distance. We are destroying this nation. It is one thing to be cautious. It's another thing to be controlled. People are going to start to push back more and more, and they have every right. You're telling them you have no right to operate because of something. And remember, this is the place like California where they decided to close outdoor dining based on no scientific evidence. That's the insanity of which we live. But this goes back a long time across the country. We get the government that we deserve. We continue to put people in power that continue to want to hold on to that power rather than do the best thing for the people. You're going to continue to get the same results over and over. Nothing will ever be perfect, but at some point in time, we have to start asking ourselves, is there better out there to serve us? Is there? I think so. I do. Again, nothing will be perfect, but it's got to be better than what's going on. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Hope you're doing well. AG Barr, quit!
The president tweeting Bill Barr's resignation letter saying they had a good relationship and he did an outstanding job. But Mr. Trump not explaining why the attorney general is leaving a month before the term ends. Barr's letter includes a defense of President Trump against his own Justice Department's investigation into Russian election interference, saying that few could have withstood the attacks against the president. The letter does not confirm the president's unproven claims of voter fraud.
Which is still hanging out there. And anytime, yesterday, and we're going to touch on this a little bit later, it's funny when you say you need evidence. So many people say, no, I've said this is it, so prove me wrong. It's not the way it works. It isn't. And once again, I'll go back to the voter fraud thing is there is two sides to this. The side that is a race against time for people who support Trump, and for a few people out there, the integrity of the election and looking into some of these issues. Well, Chad, you see what happened in Michigan when they went and they audited those things? I did. And by the way, the Dominion, the guy that runs Dominion, the president, he's going to be in Michigan today. He's going to be at a hearing. Why hasn't they been there before? Well, part of the reason is the Republicans want to have a hearing where it's him versus them. They're not interested in having a situation where they try to break things down. They're interested in grandstanding. We should want to make sure our elections are the best that they possibly can be. Well, Chad, are you admitting that? Of course there's fraud. But is there 4 million votes of fraud? No. Could there be a few thousand? It's possible. Absolutely. Well, then the election shouldn't stand. No, that's not the way this world works. If you want perfection, then we need to elect the king or queen, and then nobody will vote again, and then you'll have your perfection of zero fraud in elections. As long as human beings are involved, people will try to get one over. As long as human beings involved, people will try to do something to get the best and or to help something out that they believe in. That is the way the world works. Some people don't want to hear that. That's the reality of it. The end of the day, so far, there hasn't been much. Wisconsin over the weekend had an expedited case hearing. To expedite it, they essentially said, look, this is going to be somewhat of a trial. You bring all of your evidence, and everything here, because it's a race against time, what you're asking to do. You bring everything here. You lay it all out in front of us, the evidence and everything for fraud and all of this stuff, so we can hear it now. Your witnesses, all of that stuff. And the Republicans and Democrats talked about it. The two councils talked about it. And when they got up there, the Republicans like, well, we don't really have anything. You wanting to have something, you wanting something to be true doesn't make it so. It's about going through a process and proving it out. But for many, this is about Trump. For a few, this is about election integrity. Separate the two. That's what some people can't do, because it is about Trump. It is about, they don't care that at all, by the way, that they won the down ballots. They don't care about a lot of other things that went on that went well for the Republicans. They care about Trump. That's what they care about. And if this wasn't Trump, they may not participate in politics the same way again. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, AMAC, Association Mature American Citizens. You can join. It's pennies on a day. And they're out there fighting for your behalf to protect the Constitution, your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights, to protect against the insanity of crazy immigration rules that may be coming. They want common sense immigration reform, but they also want to make sure things like Social Security and Medicare are solvent, because you paid into them and they're fighting for you. On top of that, they've got great benefits, retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, and so much more. Join for pennies a day and reap the rewards and benefits. Go to amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad. Join today. Take advantage of all of these things. amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
The FDA's initial review found Moderna's 2-dose vaccine highly effective in preventing COVID-19 14 days after the second dose. The most common side effects were pain where the needle went in, fatigue, and headache, but few reported those side effects as being severe. There were no allergic reactions, but the FDA's initial review said there's insufficient data to know whether the Moderna vaccine should be given to those under 18, pregnant women.
Yeah, I don't know. As in pregnant, like these are some of the things they go through, which is who gets it? Is it kids? And that's an interesting thing, because really the data shows that not a lot happens to children. Well, kids do die. Oh, the flu's more dangerous than this is for kids. So do you think, hey, you know what? A younger generation should fight this thing off naturally, build up the immunity that it can? Does that mean you hate kids? It's exactly what I mean. It's 100% what I mean. It means I hate kids. That's it. No, it's just common sense. Like if you knew today, hey, I get this, nothing really is going to happen. I may be sick for a few days, or you can go get the shot and get... most people probably think, I'll see if I can fight this thing off. But you don't know. No, nobody knows. That's the calculated risk we talk about in life. Nobody knows. If people knew, it wouldn't be a calculated risk, would it? If you knew that boat was going to sink on this day, chances are you're not going on that boat. But that boat may not sink. And in fact, the reality is it's more than 99.97% chance that boat's not going to sink at all. So you take the risk. And just because it sinks doesn't mean you're going to die. Oh, yeah, that too. It's what that these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. When it comes to a younger generation, absolutely. But I continue to go back to the way that we need to approach this is we need to come at this, and I keep hearing everybody, well, the first thing we need to do is get into nursing homes. No. You need to get to people like that business owner we were talking about, and people that are going to be out and about in society, contributing in the rebuilding and re-strengthening of a collapsing economy, not people that, quite frankly, have lived their life past the point where they're contributing on a day-to-day to society. And most of them would tell you the exact same thing. They would. I go back to the fact that we have never asked people who are elderly, do you want us to shut everything down to save you? They would probably say, we fought Nazis, so we're going to just live our lives. Are you sure you don't want to die of loneliness? But you can't say stuff like, oh, I just did. But most people can't, and the reason is pretty simple. It makes you sound like you're a bad person. All you care about is money. No, I care about the economy, because with the economy comes all the other things, like people not in food banks, not losing their homes, not losing their livelihoods, not watching their world crumble around them, not drinking, taking drugs, domestic abuse. We can go on and on. Suicide. We can go on and on with all of these things that will be lingering at this rate for years. Not saying you don't go out there eventually and get people vaccinated. I'm just saying that the plan needs to be strategic in nature in such a way that the payoff wins. And what we won't have is that. We'll have politics. People want to make it look good. People want to make it look splashy. People want to make, oh, look at all the good we're doing. Are you really doing good? Or are you, like everything else in this day and age, are you doing something that makes you feel good and look good? But the reality is, at the end of the day, that's all it does. Strategic. We vaccinate the people that are going to be out there. First liners, those responders, teachers. That's a no-brainer. Everybody else afterwards. Everybody over 21 or 30 to 55 or 60 that's out there. Those people. And people who don't want it because they think they can fight it off, then don't try to force it to them and allow them to live their lives. But we got to be strategic. And I don't think we will. I think it'll be more feel-good than actual planned out in a way where success is there. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Tucker with a chance to win it from 55 yards. Morgan Cox for the snap. Sam Cook to hold. Tucker's kick is traveling down the middle. It is long enough. It is good! And with 2 seconds left to play.
Can I just say, I had a hell of a game last night. I watched the Ravens at Cleveland. This isn't everybody else's Cleveland Browns. This is a real team. Their coach is a hell of a coach. Baker Mayfield, whether he was worth the number 1 pick overall, he played a hell of a game, and he's a gritty. He's a gamer. Guy wants to win. Lamar Jackson. I mean, it was seesaw. Lamar Jackson had to leave the game. They brought in their backup quarterback, the Ravens. He got hurt, and they didn't know what to do with him. Next thing you know, you see Lamar Jackson running out, and he was out for several minutes, out of the locker room, limping noticeably. I think he had cramps or something. He comes out, leads him down for a touchdown. It was seesaw back and forth. It was awesome to watch. Last night was the first time, I was telling producers, first of all, it was one of the best football games I've seen in years. Secondly, it felt like a game. So many of these games are played at empty stadiums, and it looks like they're playing in a mausoleum. It felt there was fans in Cleveland. It wasn't packed like it would have been, but it just felt real. I think we need that more and more. And it was just interesting to watch last night. It was a hell of a game. ESPN should pray and hope. I wish every Monday night game was like this. I wish every Monday night game was like this. I wish but they're not. Sometimes they just straight out suck. Last night was not one of them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. How close are we getting to having a relief bill done as local and state governments continue to crush small business and they're looking to bail people out? Sad thing is, more often than not, what they're bailing out anymore they're not bailing out small business owners. They're bailing out workers. We need to get this thing sorted out. They need to put politics away, which is so hard to do in a world of politics because these people are addicted to politics, but something needs to give.
Bipartisanship and compromise is alive and well in Washington. What we have before you is $908 billion. Basically what it does, it takes care of those who are unemployed, our 16 weeks at $300 a week. We have nutrition assistance, food assistance, even going into our food banks because we have non-traditional people who have probably never been in the food bank before that's needing food assistance now. We want to make sure that they have the opportunity.
Think about it. That's Joe Manchin, who, by the way, can I just say this? For those of you out there who still worry, what will happen should the Republicans lose both seats in Georgia, which is looking like this race is going to be really tight. Loeffler looks that was not a good look, posing with the guy from the KKK. Let me tell you what's not a good look. That. And you've got those races are going to be crazy. But that right there is Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is from West Virginia, a dead red state, and he manages to hold. He's very Charlie Wilson-esque. Charlie Wilson was a Democrat, and if you saw Charlie Wilson's War, you know all about this guy. He was a Democrat in the reddest state at the reddest time in that state. But he kept on winning because people liked him. Joe Manchin continues to win because people like him and because he is a traditional Democrat, if you will. And even if they lose both of those in Georgia, don't be surprised that Manchin, more often than not, sides with the Republicans. So that's something to watch there. Just a little side note for you kids and kittens out there. Some of the other things they would like to see done.
And we want to make sure that we had shelter assistance, rent, eviction notices, small business debt relief. Then we wanted to talk about student loan forbearance. So much pressure on our students right now, and that's in here. And then it goes on and on and on, as you can see, almost 600 pages. Everyone says, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? We strictly looked at everything that was going to expire at the end of this month. Now it's up to the leadership to take it and make this happen on a timely basis.
Now, will that happen? That I can't tell you. How long will it go on? Could go on for quite a while. It's not going to be perfect. And this is where we have to start realizing things aren't going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be in there. But what needs to happen is we need to open up again. We need to make sure that small business can start to recover so people can start to work and not hope and pray that government's going to come in and save the day, which is what's going on.
Republicans and Democrats can work together and can take on a tough issue. And this one looks particularly tough because on the one side, you had folks saying anything less than $2 trillion was unacceptable. And on the other, you had folks saying anything over $500 billion was unacceptable. And there was an insight in that dinner we had. I think it was Dick Durbin who said it. We're looking not just at what we're going to do long term for the country and stimulating the economy. We have people hurting right now. We have an emergency. So let's look at what we need to do to take care of the emergency.
Mitt Romney there. What makes me laugh about that is that's you guys had to have an emergency meeting to realize that? You had to have an emergency meeting to realize people are struggling? Stop living in the bubble. Come on, Mitt, you're better than that. People are struggling. And there's also people out there that aren't struggling. And we need to make sure that they're continuing to go because every time this thing goes on, every day, the herd gets thin. We need to start doing the right thing by having personal responsibility and common sense along with science and moving this ball forward and trying to bridge a gap between here and potentially when we will get back to what I'm hoping will be some sort of normal. When will that be? I don't know.
We're going to be on a glide path towards a new normal. So what I mean by that is over the summer, if 75, 80% of Americans get vaccinated, the virus is going to be at a very, very low level across communities, right? And so backyard barbecues, absolutely. Getting people back to work, yeah.
Dr. Jha, well, yeah, getting people back to work. Backyard barbecues? No, first thing is getting people back to work, and we should be getting people back to work as fast as possible. I go back to personal responsibility. Some of these people don't want to wear a mask. You know what? I'm not their keeper. If you don't want to wear a mask, then don't wear a mask. Now, if a business tells you got to wear a mask, that's a you thing. You got to figure that one out. But if you want to walk somewhere and you want to wear a mask in your house and you want to, and businesses are going to allow you in certain places not to wear a mask, again, that's not my job to police them. It's other people's jobs, called their wives, their husbands, their conscience, and they can do whatever they want. We need to get back to work. We need to be in a position where, they're talking about 70 to 80% of people. I still don't know if we had 1 billion dosages today, if enough people are going to take it at this moment in time. And I keep going back to, if I take it and do the thing I'm supposed to, or if I've already had it and I've got the antibodies, why should I continue to have to live in this bizarre way where I can't do anything because other people won't, based on your bizarre world that you live in, government? Because, no, I don't.
Will it be totally the way it was in 2019? Probably not. You can imagine if you want to go to a concert or you want to go to a movie theater. Those are places where I would go to a movie theater next fall, but I'd probably wear a mask in the movie theater. So there are going to be some modifications for a little while until we really have plenty of therapies and the vaccines are out and we've really suppressed the virus. But life will look a lot better by the summer.
If enough people get it. That's the big thing. If enough people get it. Will enough people get it? That I don't know. Is it possible we'll get enough? Yeah. But going to the movies is a perfect example of, will there be enough? Will there even be movies? The box office this year was absolutely crushed.
Thanks to the pandemic, there hasn't been a year this week at the box office since the early 80s.
What happened to Bad Boys for Life?
Bad Boys for Life, released in early 2020, will likely be the highest-grossing film of the year in North America. The Hollywood Reporter pointing out that so far this year, ticket sales stand at just over $2 billion, down around 80% from last year. Worldwide, ticket sales are down about 70%, and as we go into the usually lucrative December holiday season, Wonder Woman 1984 is scheduled to hit theaters Christmas Day, but with coronavirus cases surging and theaters closed in several major cities, not even the Amazon Princess can save the day.
No, an ugly, nasty year. Would I go to, people ask, because that's the thing I miss the most is movies. Would I go to a movie today? What's the movie? Because I only watch, much like my palate, when it comes to food, I'll tell you this. I had a donut already for breakfast. The donut for breakfast was a small little cinnamon roll. It was probably the size of it was tiny. But much like that, I only go to specifically horribly, hilariously fun movies, horror movies and things like that. I don't, like if something was open, absolutely. But I don't want to sit inside of a theater wearing a mask. I just don't. Sorry, I don't. It's not something I'm interested in. That's why if I get the vaccine or if I've already had it and I've had the antibodies and my choice is to go sit into a theater without, you could give it to somebody else. Well, aren't they supposed to be wearing a mask? Well, you should be wearing. It goes back to we should have personal responsibility and some choice, which they're taking all of that away. Now, if the theater says you can go either or, then I will. If they say you have to wear a mask, then my choice is if I don't want to go, I'm not going to go. We're not giving people those. We're just making blanket, insane, hey, guess what? Based on zero science in some places, some science here, or outdated science, we're doing this to your business. Ha ha. Enjoy. That sucks. And yes, I miss movies. I've seen one this year. I saw 38 last year. Went through all my tickets and all the stuff in my band. I want to say I saw 38 movies last year. Sucks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text. Speaking of movies, maybe you've got old film reels of grandma and grandpa and getting married way back in the day and family members you've only heard of but never seen. Maybe you've got old pictures that are inside of photo albums just not organized and a hot mess and they're looking old, and maybe you got VHS and beta. Well, guess what? My friends at Legacy Box have absolutely the best Christmas gift, Hanukkah gift you could ever dream of. It is the Legacy Box. It's taking your old antiquated media, sending it into them inside of their box that they send you, and then watching it be digitized, following along in the process to see where it's at, and bringing to life those memories that many people thought were lost, and some memories that only certain family members had. Now you can share in it. It is incredible. They'll be preserved. You get back the box full of your old media and the new media. So it's DVD, thumb drive, the cloud, all of it. You decide how you want to consume it. It's awesome. It is truly the gift that will bring your memories to life. What are you waiting for? Go to legacybox.com/Benson now. Limited time offer, 50% off. They send you the box. You send it in whenever. Legacybox.com/Benson. 50% off while supplies last. Legacybox.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say
It's now officially a holiday tradition. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is number one on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart after hitting the top spot for the first time last year. Released in 1994, it took 25 years to get to number one, and now it's happened 2 years in a row. And 'tis the season. Jose Feliciano's classic Christmas tune, Feliz Navidad, is in the top 10 for the first time ever, 50 years after it was originally released.
Phil and I talk about it every year. We got to make it happen, Phil. It is about having that one Christmas song. You ever see the movie About a Boy with who's the English actor? Hugh Grant. It's his whole life is he's this playboy runs around. Why? Because his dad wrote a stupid Christmas song, and he makes like $500,000 a year off it. It's about having the hit at the right time, but also the season. Because you could have the song of the summer, but if you have the song of the Christmas season, it will never die. Every year from mid-November through Christmas, it is your summer. It is awesome. We got to do that. So here's things that we need to do, producer Phil. We still got to go to the Olympics because we're trying that. We're going to do archery. Well, I don't know how we're going to do, but we're going to try because we should. And then we got to write our number one Christmas song. It just has to be catchy and fun. That's it. Set ourselves up for like this song. Let's be real. Everybody hates it but loves it. You know? Here's some interesting facts about some of your favorite Christmas songs. I like doing stuff like this. It matters. This is the stuff that matters this time. We've got enough chaos going on. The song was written in 15 minutes by 15 minutes. And Mariah Carey, she voiced it and sang it in August, and to this day she's taking it to the bank. Faith Hill, Where Are You Christmas? Was written by Mariah Carey, but her ex-husband Tommy said, give it to Faith Hill instead. Brenda Lee, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, 1958. She was 13 years old when she sang that. Are you kidding me? I love this one, and I've talked about this. Thurl Ravenscroft, who is You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. If you've ever been to Disneyland, first of all, he's Tony the Tiger. They're great. Secondly, what I love about this is if you go to Disneyland and you're on the Haunted Mansion. Have you ever been to Disneyland, Phil? You been there? Disney World?
I never have.
So when you're on the Haunted Mansion, you come to 3 headstones or 3 busts, and one of them's broken. And the center one is Thurl Ravenscroft singing. And he was a voice a lot of stuff. Roman Catholic Church said, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, a 1952 song. Promoted adultery and condemned the song. Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas, hated Elvis Presley's version so much, he tried to get it banned from radio. And the only song before these ones to hit the Billboard Hot 100 was the Chipmunk song for Christmas. That's craziness and chaos. I love stuff like that. I love stupid things like that. I do. Do You Hear What I Hear was written as a call for peace for the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Little silly things that make you laugh a little bit. And we need more of that, especially when we're sitting here listening to all this craziness and chaos. Plus, we're still out trying to figure out if we could shop, if we can buy, what can we do?
Today is the last day to get your ground shipments out in time for a Christmas delivery, but supply chain expert Tim Kraft says even that may not happen. The pandemic creating a massive surge in online shopping.
So you're looking at a more than 40% increase just in online sales.
Just in online. That's a massive increase as compared to the traditional 15, 16% increase that we typically see.
An estimated 3 billion packages will be delivered this holiday season, dramatically more than last year's 2.2 billion.
So that's huge. And then you've got the question about, okay, so let's say we do this. What about shipping? Do I get my money back?
An estimated 3 billion packages will be delivered this holiday season, dramatically more than last year's 2.2 billion.
So that's $1.3 billion, a billion more. Just think about that. And there is no guarantees that it will get there on time, even though they say it. And guess what? There's no take-backs. Oh, there's no give-you-backies? There's no give-you-backies. Make sure it's getting shipped overnight. Pay that extra bucks if it's that important. If not, let people know. It's a crazy year. Might be a day or two late, so you'll have Christmas go on extra. Call it Christmas overtime. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's been several hours since you got your shot. How are you feeling right now? Any immediate side effects?
No immediate side effects. I feel great. No different than I felt yesterday this time. No arm pain, no fever. I feel just fantastic.
It's just weird because she didn't have a Jamaican accent before the shot. Another way I would totally do this. Oh my God, what have you done to me? What have you done? You've given me a shot. Are you speed? Now listen to me. I identify as a 73-year-old Brit. I like how they asked her. It's been a few hours. How do you feel? She's telling Phil. It's not like she was bit by a black mamba. She was bit by a pit viper. Hey, we gave you a shot. How do you feel? Fine. Now, they continue to say the second one's supposed to be the one. Which one's that, Chad? The one that gives her autism or Bell's palsy or I don't know what else. This is what it is. People, it's a shot. It's a vaccine. It looked it looked bizarre. The whole picture, guy standing next to her, this lady, right, is getting the first shot. She's doing it on TV. It looks like an execution. Like a hostage video. She had to hold up a paper to identify herself on that day.
I feel hopeful, relieved, excited for my colleagues who have been working tirelessly. And I've seen firsthand the suffering, the pain, the deaths, and how tirelessly my team has been working, saving patients' lives. So I'm just really happy that we have a vaccine that will provide some relief and that will put an end to this pandemic.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's the Pfizer one. Today, Moderna announced that they're ready to rock and roll. They got theirs on track. FDA's like, hey, it's pretty good.
The FDA's initial review found Moderna's 2-dose vaccine highly effective in preventing COVID-19 14 days after the second dose. The most common side effects were pain where the needle went in, fatigue, and headache, but few reported those side effects as being severe. There were no allergic reactions, but the FDA's initial review said there's insufficient data to know whether the Moderna vaccine should be given to those under 18, pregnant women.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, under 18, let the kids, people ask me this about Jack all the time. Would you let Jack take it if he wants to take it? And his mom and I have talked about it. He's a healthy young kid. I don't, if he got this, he may have already had it. I don't know. He's been tested twice, but he's never been tested for the antibodies. And you know, as we all know when it comes to this, a majority of people that get this are asymptomatic. So they feel nothing. Or the few things that they do feel, you can go, it's allergies, or I've just got a headache, or I'm fatigued because I'm working too much. Not kids, because kids they just play around all day. But at the end of the day, if he didn't get it, I'm not going to freak out about it because I don't think the younger generation is going to be fine. Report after report is showing they're fine. It's the generation that are in the 30 to 60 range that need it the most. The productive people in society who are out there need it the most. That's the reality. I know I'm so mean, but the truth is we need to start building ourselves up again, strengthening ourselves again, because we hear too much of this kind of stuff happening where you've got business owners that are completely devastated and destroyed, trying to figure out how they're going to rebuild when, quite frankly, they're just hoping to get through each and every pay period.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. What about my employees?
You're not following the rules.
I am following the rules. My tables are inside. Just because the health department has a whole process to go through that takes however long that takes, I have to close my business for that time? Are you going to pay my rent? Are you going to pay my rent?
You chose to open a business, and I chose to go into bureaucracy. That is Anton Van Happen. He is a owner of Nick the Greek restaurant, Ventura. He's imploring all of the people that in the vicinity around him in downtown Ventura, open up, open up. You need to be open. They can't close us all. You need to be open. I love this, though. Listen to this back and forth about who's paying his rent. This isn't about him getting rich. This is about him staying in business and keeping people employed. This is about his employees. Once again, I go back to this chaos and craziness that we see in so many places where they paint business owners as Scrooge McDuck and that they're just taking from all of these people. And it's like robber barons. By the way, if you know anything about robber barons, they didn't rob anybody. You go back and look at all the people that built up so much of this country, that started from the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, all of these people that started from nothing and built something. Their competitors and politicians called them robber barons. They were employers of people, and they started small and built big and gave people jobs. This guy's giving people's jobs. And in a small business like this, you know your employees. You are intertwined in their life. You know things about them that makes you more than just a business owner. But he's losing everything. And too often than not, people who don't have skin in the game are people who do what? They want to tell everybody else who's got skin in the game how to live their life.
I never served one single person outside. I did all take-out food and delivery to what exactly I was supposed to be doing. That's exactly what I did. I did not break any, and there's not even a law, I did not break any rule.
There is a law that you're breaking right now by operating without a permit.
Because you guys put this closure on my restaurant.
Right. The restaurant is already closed. The permit has been suspended. However, your refusal to close warrants a
Because what am I going to do with my clothes? Are you going to pay my rent?
No, I'm not. What do you think of those apples? Suck it. Now, look, some of these people are just low-level bureaucrats that are doing their job. But the reality is people are getting crushed on a day-to-day basis. And the stimulus deal is still a ways away. They can't agree on anything. They can't even agree if today's Tuesday, let alone what they should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to stimulus. Who may be getting something, who may not be getting something. And the most important thing out of everything, how am I going to look in the press to my constituents? Am I going to look like Nancy won? Am I going to look like Mitch beat me? That's insane. It really is. Remember, they're human beings. The ego is strong in that. Vaccine might be here, but we're still a ways away of being in a position where we're going to be back to normal. We need to open up. We need to allow business owners to get back out there and start driving this economy before it's too late. Right now, we're in a medically induced economic coma. We better figure out how we bring ourselves out of it, because the doctors, i.e. the idiots that are the government that's running the cities and states and counties around you, who have told you 25 different things. You want to know why there's mistrust? First of all, is there disinformation everywhere? Yes. Is there misinformation? Yes. But has the story changed so much by the powers that be that give people the opportunity to have that misinformation and disinformation? Yes. Common sense and, most importantly, personal responsibility will go a long way in turning this thing and this ship around. But at the rate we are going, we got a lot of work to do. And we're at that point. We got about 5 minutes of air. And we're getting close to that 6 minutes to the surface. We may not make it. So it's time for us to start taking personal responsibility by doing the right thing for each other and knowing that, hey, you know what? This place is asking me to wear a mask. I'm wearing a mask. This place is asking me to give people 6 feet of space. I'm doing that because of why? Because I care about these people and their business. I also care about my business. And I care about the people that work here. And I want to see them succeed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Do love hearing from you. Got a great story coming from Seattle, which is just insane. You try to figure out which place is crazier. It's like, is it Berkeley, in San Francisco? Is it L.A.? Is it New York? And then Seattle's like, hold our beer. Did you not see what we did in the summer? Have you not been paying attention? Oh, we got something for you. We did. We got something for you. Car Shield, 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car is in the shop. You choose that shop. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. It's as simple as that. And that's what's great. Nobody wants that check engine light to come on, but the reality is it happens. It does. And it's funny when we, I talk about, cars between 5,000 and 150,000 miles. Many of you out there who may have a new car, you realize that warranty may only be good for the engine and your transmission and stuff. It's not good for the electronics in it. So you need something, because so many cars today are like computer systems. On the other side of things, you have people who they don't want a new car. They like what they have, but they don't have anything fancy, but they want to make sure that engine keeps running. This is where Car Shield comes in for cover repairs. Plans start as low as $99 a month. They've helped over 1 million drivers. They are America's #1 auto protection company. Do what I did. Drive with confidence. Confident knowing that your wallet's protected, your bank account's protected, your car is protected, your peace of mind is protected. Call Car Shield. 800-665-2157. 800-665-2157. When you do, use code Benson. Be specific in what you're looking for. That'll save you 10%. Or carshield.com. Carshield.com. Use code Benson, save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Oh, there's a lot of stuff trending, kids, and I'm going to talk about some of those things. Let's start on the Google. Let's start at Google. Joel Osteen, apparently he got $4.4 million. Not him, but the church. Runs that big church out, Lakewood Church in Texas, in Houston. The old Omni Compact Center, whatever it is. Apparently got $4.4 million. I don't know. Apparently he's evil and bad on that. I don't know. This is worse. Geraldo. Oh, Geraldo. Geraldo was a singer. Geraldo got into an argument with Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk and basically told him, dude, you need to accept the election loss. which a lot of people out there can't do because they can't do it. Because they feel it was stolen from them. And I don't know. Was it? You got to prove that, right? The last time I checked, there has to be proof. And that hasn't been as easily proved as they say it is, especially in a court of law. Head on over to Google. Best Buy PS5 apparently will be available. Oh, they're already gone. Supposed to be a lot online today. Hey, yeah, good luck trying to get those. Good luck trying to get any of those things. Your best. Now, I've seen them. If you're willing to pay a premium, like everything in life, if you're willing to pay a premium, you can get it. That's it. Some people can't. Some people won't. But some people will. Conor McGregor, Jake Paul are trending. And the reason for that is, and we touched on it yesterday, Jake Paul, for those of you guys who don't know, the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, are they are YouTube stars with a ton of followers that make a ton of money, and he wants to fight Conor McGregor. He fought 2-3 weeks ago and knocked out a Nate Robinson, former NBA slam dunk champion. McGregor's arguably one of the best fighters in the world. I don't know how much he's into fighting anymore. You work harder at first, but you work smarter later on. How much does he care about his legacy, or is it about making dollar bills? I think Conor McGregor hanging out with the likes of Floyd Mayweather has made him think it's more about the money than it is a lot of these accolades. But he's still, I guess, under contract. And Dana White said this yesterday.
But I get it. There's a lot of money in it. There's a market for those kind of fights. There will be a day when Conor McGregor could do these type of fights and make a bunch of money. Conor McGregor is one of the best. He's one of the greatest fighters on earth right now. He shouldn't be fighting kids that have YouTube videos.
So, well, today, Jake Paul came out with a video and $50 million proof of funds to fight Conor McGregor. Let me be honest with you. I know you're saying no. I'm hearing what you're saying. You're saying no. But then I heard $50 million. So let's go over this again. You over there, you said no. It'll never happen. Conor will never, ever, ever, ever fight. Then I heard $50 million and a proof of funds. And it made me think to myself, that's a lot of money. Never say never. Everybody, for the most part, I'm sure there's a very few, but they're very few. Everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. Everybody does. People have prices. Especially in stuff like this. You have a price, and you're like, I would never. Okay, now you're interesting me. I would never, though. Okay, now it's really interesting, but I don't. Okay, I'll do it. If there was really $50 million, I'll be honest with you. I will fight Mike Tyson and a gorilla and a rhino for $50 million. I read a great story about Tyson a couple weeks ago that when he was at his prime, he tried to pay his zookeeper $10,000 cash to fight a silverback. That thing would have killed him. And then people are like, Mike's dead. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. You know, it'd been funny, though, if that did happen. Would you run in and give the belt to the gorilla? I don't know. I would have to say, yeah. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Are you now prepared to call Biden the president-elect?
Well, I mean, once somebody hits 270, I understand they're voting right now, but I think that's the process we have, yes.
South Dakota Republican, soon to be ostracized. John Thune. Yeah, that's what you have. Yesterday, I had people, this is the emotion that people get into. I had people yesterday, because I tweeted out something about, Trump. It was something funny about him moving out of the White House. It was so stupid, but it was funny. Like, I tweeted something out today. If you can't laugh at yourself and the absurdity of a lot of this stuff on both sides, you have a problem. Chad, they're stealing. What can you not do today that you couldn't do yesterday? Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing you can't do. Well, your businesses are closed. Here's the sad part. As much as I get pissed about all this stuff, the reality is, and ask attorneys, when it comes to health of people, there's a lot that they can override in the Constitution, which drives everybody crazy. It does. But the emotions that run high, like John Thune, like Barr's already getting blasted left, right, and center. The president is still living in this world where we got something else. There's got to be something else. And it's now the Supreme Court sucks and everything is ruined. Nothing is ruined. Your life isn't changed. The coronavirus has a bigger impact in your life than whether or not Trump won an election, had an election stole, or lost an election. And it's so amazing that people can't even say to themselves, is it possible he lost? But I saw the rallies, Chad. Yeah, people don't go to those rallies for Biden. They didn't. He didn't he didn't campaign. He didn't have to. Trump campaigned against himself half the time. He did. Remember the giant, huge rallies that were against Trump at the beginning? And you had all the other rallies throughout this last summer and stuff? That is essentially a Democratic rally. But he needs to relax. Check your emotions. Is Joe Biden president-elect? Yeah. The message it was pretty damn clear. He talked about it last night, spoke after everything was said and done.
Vice President-elect Harris and I earned 306 electoral votes, well exceeding the 270 electoral votes needed to secure victory. 306 electoral votes is the same number of electoral votes that Donald Trump and Vice President Pence received when they won in 2016. At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now.
Yeah. It's over. Well, Chad, it's not over because there's fraud everywhere. There really isn't. There isn't. There isn't what you think. As one of the court judges that was appointed by Trump said this past weekend, you wanting something to be so does not make it so. Well, these people have come out with stuff. Now it's on the other side to come out. No, they don't have to just like you shouldn't be fighting this in the court of public opinion. They shouldn't either. Take them to court. But when you go to court and you tell the judge, I don't really have anything, what ends up happening? You lose. You were 0 for 60. Well, they did an audit. Yeah, they did a forensic audit. People that support Trump did a forensic audit, and they said, look at this. This thing's been changed, these Dominion machines. Well, the guy that is the head of Dominion is going to be at a hearing today in Michigan. Let's see what he has to say. If there's proof, you prove it out in court. There's a race against time, though. This isn't about any other election 2 years from now or 4 years from now. This is about Trump for a lot of people. Some people yesterday were, I'll bet anything. I'll bet you my house. I said, all right, I'll take that bet. What makes you feel uncomfortable? I'll take that bet. People were, I was, that he's not going to get the votes today that he needs. And then it got quiet. after they passed 270. I'm still waiting for my keys. Still waiting. People are still out there, and I feel sad for them because they're not living in a world of reality at this moment in time. They're just not. I'm not saying you don't investigate. I've never once said that. What I am saying, though, is when you say you're doing all of these things, and you say you're doing all these things because you have all this proof, and then when you have a chance to prove it, you don't. What are people to believe? If you were a baseball player and you were 0 for 60, and you're not a pitcher, what do you think they would do? I think they need to send him to the minors. Maybe. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Insanity lives everywhere, but no more so does it live than Seattle. That should be their flag. Seattle or Washington State, but really it's just Seattle. The city flag should be Seattle. We're the home of crazy blanking ideas and stuff. Case in point, the latest that they're trying to get past.
Burglars taped a window and used a slingshot to break into Matthew Humphrey's brand new barbershop in Ballard, stealing $4,000 worth of stuff. He figures the thieves would just resell it. But when he heard that reselling stolen goods could be part of the poverty defense,
I think it's absolutely insane.
As it stands now, the poverty defense would allow stealing and 100 other misdemeanor crimes if it was done so to meet a basic need.
So, wait, hold on a second. Step back. I'm stepping back. So you're telling me that my job is to build my business, but their job based on basic needs, because my job and my career and the things that I'm doing is also for the basic needs. But their job may be to steal my stuff for their basic needs. So what you're saying is their job is theft?
Reselling power tools stolen from a Home Depot to pay rent could qualify.
It's one of these well-intended concepts of, we want to take care of people that can't take care of themselves, but what you're really doing is hurting other people.
Critics say it legalizes a lot of crime. Supporters say no way.
We know that this is simply fear-mongering, and the early attacks against it are rooted in anti-poverty bias.
Oh, is that what it is? This is fear-mongering, anti-poverty biased. It's not. This is insane is what it is. This has nothing to do with, I don't like people that are poor. No, I don't like people that are stupid. But I like people less than that who are politicians who are extra stupid by telling people it's okay to steal other people's stuff if there's a moral goodness to it. There's a moral goodness to it. I'm stealing your stuff because I need to feed your family. What about a job? For all as bad as our economy is, there's a lot of help wanted out there. But we're not talking about those. And remember, this is the city that allowed the Chaz, Chop, whatever it was. This is the city that ceded 6 blocks to have the summer of love that turned out to be a little rapey and a little violent. This is the city that believes that everybody who owns a business is essentially Scrooge McDuck, and when everybody leaves, they go into the back room and they jump off a diving board into their gold.
And there's the no legal alternative option under consideration. If a thief is caught stealing food from a grocery store and did not know a food bank was right around the corner, they would not be convicted of stealing. The city attorney saying the thief should at least have to prove they didn't know.
It's fair to ask the defendants to explore whether there is a legal way to satisfy their need before committing a crime.
But the head of public defense says the thief shouldn't have to prove there was a legal alternative to stealing.
To show that there wasn't something nearby seems to just sort of hurt the individuals.
So wait a minute. So if I don't know as a grown-ass human being that there's no legally, I just don't know where I could get food. I like today. I live the blessed life. I'll say that. I bust my ass, though. I'm up at 2 in the morning. If I sleep in sometimes, it's 3. I go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I have done this for years to put myself in this position. I have lost everything and sacrificed everything to be here. I have been to the point where not only did I not have a car, I was ducking landlords, selling everything I had to continue to do this thing. I've been ostracized by my family because they thought I was stupid. But if you ever thought for me, oh, I'm going to steal some. No, that's insane. I'm blessed. So I'm sitting out there today, getting my gas at 2:30 in the morning. I stopped and got a donut, got some gas. And there's a homeless person. And because I'm like, what's that noise? And I look over, and there's a homeless person there and talking to a guy that runs like a gas station, like a Shell or one of those things. And he's got coffee and is eating some food. And I'm thinking to myself, as awful as that is, the fact that that person's not breaking into anything. That person's not doing something. That person, and we were going to talk about this yesterday. I've talked to several people that work at food banks because we do a lot of stuff here locally, and everybody knows that there's food banks. So you're telling me now that if they can't be asked to walk across the street to get some food, like they're unfamiliar with how food banks work, that you know what? I'm too tired to do. You're asking me now to do something that you should be fine with letting them just steal your crap, and that's a burden on me. This is why we can't have nice things.
It's a little upside down world. The end result is, small companies like mine have to close their doors because they can't afford to be broken in all the time.
Oh, that's your fault. That's the way people look at this. That's your fault. That's a you thing. It's the way that some people look at this. No, it is an upside down world. When we punish people for being successful, for working hard, and we allow people in cities to run amok, that is insane. Prove to me that's not insane. I'm curious. Prove to me how breaking in to people's businesses and stealing things is okay based on what reality? I won't hold my breath. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Oh, my goodness. Raycon's best earbuds around. Let me tell you about Raycon. So I got my E25s. I've had them for like 2-3 years now. I've had different sets. They're just amazing. Mine always go missing, but they never really get lost. They just go missing into somebody else's hands because people love them, and they're incredible. And the noise isolating fit, the 6 hours of talk time, the way that it just syncs up automatically. But it's that noise isolating fit. So whether you're making a phone call, whether you're doing a video conference call, you hear them, they hear you. There's no wires, there's no stems, and straight out of the box, it's ready to go. Now, normally Ray J, when he put this together, would, he wanted something that was real, but at a price that was affordable for everybody. Normally you'd spend $200, $300, $400. I saw that the one company out there has a new set of earbuds for almost $600. These will cost you well under $100, and they're as good, if not better. And I will tell you this, when it comes to the fit, they're way better. Go now, get yours, save even more. Start under $100, save an extra $15. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
It's a little upside down world. The end result is, small companies like mine have to close their doors because they can't afford to be broken in all the time.
We've talked about that, what they're thinking about doing in Seattle, passing essentially a poverty-based needs law where you can rob a store or take stuff and resell it because based on the fact that you need to feed your family or your drug habit or whatever. Go look at the crime statistics in Seattle and in Portland and tell me, boy, that's super fun. Go look at that. It's nuts. Enabling people to do bad things is not kindness. It's not. It's actually cruelty. And the reason this pisses me off, this is my mom's kind of way she felt about my sister when my sister's a hot mess. For those of you who don't know, she's been a super hot mess. In and out of jail. She's had 1,000 million kids. I have 7 brothers and sisters that are actually my nieces and my nephews that my mother and my aunt have adopted. Because of my sister. And when she started going off the rails, she was robbing the house. She was robbing me blind. I was home for like 2 months in the off season and stuff would go missing. I was telling my mom. I'm like, I come here to visit and well, you know your sister. That is you. That's not an excuse. You know your sister. You know you can't have nice things because people will steal them. Like somehow this is their job. Is insane. It is nuts. Welcome to the world of non-reality. Somewhere there's a reality where people are like, hey, people who are doing bad stuff, or people who are deciding that they don't want to follow the rules, they get in trouble for it. It's nuts. They turn the victim, or what should be the victim, into the criminal, and the person that is committing the crimes into some sort of Robin Hood moral hero. That is so stupid. It really is. Well, I mean, what do you expect? This is a world right now that we live in where singer Shawn Mendes, you guys know who he is, singer, very popular. iHeart did their Jingle Ball show. Like every station stuff across the country, it's Jingle Ball, or, it's Rocking the Bells, super duper. So he had to apologize to Sam Smith, singer, because he called Sam Smith he instead of they. He goes, it slipped my mind. It won't happen again. You're still called Sam, right? Now, his pronouns are they, them, which are plural. Them is many. They are more than one. Why couldn't you just call him Sam? Because we can't anymore. Because we're allowing the flea to wag the tail to wag the dog. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I was looking at Moderna on the TV screen earlier. 94.5% effective. And the first thing that came to my mind is if that was me going, Mom, we got it 94.5% effective. She would look at me and she said, why didn't you get 100? You can't please some people no matter what. Somebody who's going to be in a lot of trouble because he's decided that he's living in a world of reality and will now be damned by Trump and his followers. And I'm not talking about the average Republican who voted for Trump. I'm just talking about people who live for Trump. They don't care about the election integrity going forward. They care about this election because of his Yahwehness. It's Mitch McConnell because, well, he said it.
Today I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden. The President-elect is no stranger to the Senate. He's devoted himself to public service for many years. I also want to congratulate the Vice President-elect, our colleague from California, Senator Harris.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Going to be in trouble with Daddy. So he's done it. He's admitted it. He has said those words, President-elect. Yeah. Because based on what we have at this moment in time, the process that we had, the legal challenges that have been thrown out there and either shot down because there's no merit to them or had hearings and been then blown out of the courtroom, based on all of those things. And then yesterday, the culmination of, are you guys ready for it? The Electoral College getting together and voting. He's president-elect as of now. You shouldn't say that. You don't bite your tongue.
Our Republican colleagues, for the sake of our democracy, for the sake of the peaceful transition of power, should stop the shenanigans, stop the misrepresentations, and acknowledge that Joe Biden will be our next president.
Yeah, he is. It's over. I tweeted out something earlier. I put it on my Instagram, and then it goes to my Facebook page. And we were laughing about this. Let me tell you about some of the stuff I get every day when the emotions rise to a certain level of just craziness. I'm a straight thinker, and let me tell you how straight thinkers are. I no emotion. No emotion in any of this. I do not have emotion towards Trump one way or another. I wanted him to succeed, and he did some stuff that was good. He also did some stuff that I wasn't a fan of. That's going to be every president. I bet you Biden does okay in some places, and other places he's going to be, and we'll talk about that. We will. But when you attack people out of the gate, which is what happens to me all the time. Chad, you suck. Chad, you're a POS. I hope you die. Blah, 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 blah. That's what I get a lot of that. You'd be surprised. One guy said yesterday, look, you didn't have to insult me. And there was no need for it. I've never once said don't challenge these things. What I have said, though, is if you're going to challenge them, you better have proof. And if you don't have proof and you've had ample opportunity to show things, and that every time you're in court, you don't prove it, but you come up with some other craziness. Last night was Lynn Wood, who's Sidney Powell's cohort, who, by the way, defended Richard Jewell, who's done some stuff. Now his new belief is judges are scared because they're afraid they're going to get killed, and that's why they're just going to allow this. It's always something else. The emotions are through the roof because people are allowing that. And the funny thing is, the left did it 4 years ago. Their emotions were insane. It was over. Remember, we're never going to make it a year. There's going to be a nuclear war. It's going to happen. We're never going to make it a year. This is it. It's over. It's done with. Trump's going to take away everything. Everybody's going to be the handmaiden's tale. None of that stuff happened. Chaos and craziness happened. We had a hell of an economy, and I can look at some of the responses he did on COVID and say, you should have done better. I can also look at governors and say, you should have done better. But at the end of the day, we're still here. Nothing really changed. So when you go and look at this and the stuff, so I put this thing out there. Overturning the election. It's Trump sitting at his desk. Trump's last shot, it says. And it says, Dear Santa. It's a cartoon, obviously. But some of the stuff on here. To everyone that thinks this is funny, I hope you think living in a socialist country is just as funny. God, please save our country. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's it. So sad. What will happen to our country now? These are the things that I get. He needs to declare martial law. Okay. It's a communist takeover. How awful. You're not living in reality. And that's a scary thing. Because I think chances are, like a lot of people, your heart's in the right place. Even the left. There was a lot of people that were scared because they think it's like Obama, right? Oh, my God, you got to understand. If we're going to be socialists. I don't know about you, but my life didn't suck under Obama. Producer Phil, did your life suck under Obama?
Not at all.
There you go. My uncle is a staunch conservative. And a MAGA hat-wearing, big Mexican guy. Yes. I'm of the Latino flavor, too. And his wife, my auntie, who's black, super, super, uber conservative. They're like, life didn't suck under Obama. You have to like the policies. A lot of the policies that piss people off are policies that have to do with social issues. Go look at history. Go look at history. See when the best time in our time is, when we grow the most. It's when we have a Democrat in the White House and the other two chambers are controlled by Republicans. Well, that's not true. Stop being emotional about it. I'm not emotional about it. And people think because you're not emotional about something that you don't care about it. I care about the integrity of the election. Whether Trump won or lost at this point in time, it doesn't matter. What matters is, could there have been shenanigans? It's possible. But will anybody continue to look for those shenanigans once this is over and done with? Once Trump is gone? Once January 20th comes? Once every single legal aspect has been exhausted? Will people still say, you know what, we need to dive into some of these things? Because the way that some of this was put together was hasty. The way that some of this was put together leads people who would like to do certain things into an area where it makes it easier for them to do it. Those are fair questions to ask. But were millions of votes stolen? No. Bring down the emotion. Step back for a second. And the one thing that always makes, this is the world we live in now. If you win, it's above board. If they win, they cheated. 4 years ago, had to be cheating. Flash forward 4 years ago, has to be cheating. Democrats, you're going to have to deal with this. And the reason is because for 4 years, you tried to undo an election and you continued to chase. That's on you. That's on you. But everybody needs to take it down a notch. And the thought, we're going to be a communist society. No, we're not. It's not going to happen. We're going to be socialist. We're going to be Venezuela. No, we're not. Again, not going to happen. We have social safety net programs that have been around for a very long time. These things aren't happening. We're a capitalistic society. And that's not going to change. Take a deep breath. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Gonna get the hate. I just love this. It's God bless Trump. And it's just, you know what? God bless Joe Biden. He's going to be the next president. Shouldn't you want him to succeed? And that's where we are now. No, we don't want him to succeed. We want him to fail. Because somehow, if he fails, it's like that old thing we talk about all the time. Hashtag not my president. Hashtag not my pilot. What's that supposed to mean? So many people 4 years ago, we used the analogy, we continue to do it. You're on an airplane, half the plane didn't vote for this pilot, and they want the pilot to fail, which means crashing in to the ground. The other half did. How about this? We can get the pilot we wanted, but this pilot's going to do, and it'll get, as long as we get there safe, we're good. Can't do that anymore. Because now apparently he's going to fly you straight into old school Soviet Union. Oh, my God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Tweet, text, love, hate. That's all good. But if you want to have a conversation, start a conversation out with, hey, I disagree. Not, I hope you blanking die. That's not a conversation. That's emotion. Hey, 20 veterans a day on average commit suicide. You guys realize that? We're talking about all this stuff, but here's one of these stark realities that face people on a day-to-day basis. It's a sad fact. That's why I've been working for a long time with Wounded Paw Project. They've taken notice of the high suicide rate among veterans, and they're there to help. On top of that, thousands upon thousands of dogs are being euthanized at shelters across the country. So what they did is they combined their love of animals and for veterans, first responders, and their family, and they combined the two. Wounded Paw Project provides service dogs to veterans to help them recover from the trauma of war and to transition back into normal life. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life. Now, there's several ways you can donate, and anything you do this year, especially if you still have some money out there that you think, oh, tax-wise, this would be great, you can give. Now, you can give by going to smile.amazon.com, set your sporting group up to Wounded Paw Project, but gift of a vehicle is amazing. Extra car, truck, RV. If it flies, it floats. They don't care. They'll come get it, and you'll be saving a paw to save a life. Find out how you can give. Get a great tax-deductible gift. Go to woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
And I'm smiling bigger than I've smiled in a long time because it has been a hard year for so many people out there. Today, we really did get a shot of hope. I got to be at George Washington Medical Center and see frontline healthcare workers get vaccinated. We're not talking about development, actually vaccines going into arms. We've got a long way to go. Make no mistake about it. And we still need to be appropriately cautious. We still need to be, but we've got some hope finally.
Hope, hope, hope. Surgeon General Jerome Adams. We have hope. We do. Question is, how soon can we get back out there and live our lives? How long is this going to take? We are impatient, as we all know. On top of all of that, we're also living in a time where, look, we've got a lot of misinformation. We have a lot of skepticism about the vaccination. Who will take it? Who won't take it? Because we can have all the doses we need to vaccinate everybody, but if not everybody takes it, what's that mean?
People understandably are skeptical about the speed, but we have to keep emphasizing speed means the science was extraordinary that got us here.
Yeah, and the other side is, remember, Moderna said the mRNA, it was years and years and decades in the making. This is the way vaccines are going to be moving forward in a lot of different ways. The second thing is, this was not as complex as we're just not used to. This was the speed of business. This was not the speed of government, which we're used to seeing. It's the speed of government, which is a glacier going uphill in a sandstorm. So, all that being said, remember what Moderna said? We cracked it in 48 hours. We was ready to roll. We had it ready. Now the question is, what do we need and how many do we need to have vaccinated so we can feel like, all right, let's get this thing did?
We've got to get people vaccinated as quickly and as expeditiously as we possibly can until we get that herd immunity, as we say, which will require, in my opinion, about 75 to 80% of the population getting vaccinated.
I don't know how long that's going to take. Depends on who you ask. So if we're to believe, and we've had what? 11, 12 million? I'm not even quite sure how many coronavirus cases that we've had in this country at this moment in time, because it changes, but then who am I to, so as at this moment, when you go and you look and you say, all right, so you look at COVID, you look at the cases, if we had 11 million, if we had 12, 16, 18, but if they say that Let's just say we've had, because it's saying 17 million. Normally, they say for every one they catch, there's 10 that they don't catch. I'm going to cut that in half. So we cut that in half, we'd be closing in on 70-ish million people. So that's heading towards 20%. So in theory, we'd need at least 50% more of people, 50% more, maybe another 130 million, 140 million people to go get vaccinated so we can reach that. But I don't know, because I don't know how many people are going to take it. I'll take it. I got no problems with it. I also don't have a problem if I don't take it. I just want to get back to my life, as does everybody else. I want to get people out there working again. I want to see smiles on their faces instead of fear and terror. I don't want to see the line at the food bank longer than anything I have ever seen. Longer than a line at Disney World for a new ride. We need to get back to living our lives. And that's on us. Take personal responsibility. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. You have clearly been disgusted, based on your Twitter feed for weeks, with the unfounded voter fraud claims and conspiracy theories being pushed by the president. Was the final straw last week when a majority of your colleagues, House Republicans, signed on to that baseless Texas lawsuit that would have disenfranchised all of the voters of your home state of Michigan, as well as Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia?
It became clear to me that I could no longer be associated with the Republican Party, that leadership does not stand up and say the process, the election is over. It's over today.
That is Republican Rep. Paul Mitchell, who, by the way, is not Republican. Some of these guys are done, and gals. They're done. They're over it. And this is what we talk about all the time, having a third party, having a third voice. The beauty of the third voice is it can be powerful in a way that is so much better than the extremes on either side. Because when there's a third voice in the room and something needs to get done, it's like having an arbiter inside of there. You've got to come to them to try to get stuff done. If you ever watch governments around the globe and they're trying to form a government, when you hear that, what do you mean they're trying to form a government? Well, people get voted in and they have several different parties, but you need X amount of seats to form a government that can be functioning. So in many cases, you have to what? Find other people that are willing to work with you inside of this. Having a strong third voice would be great. I think too many people are over the extremes, and this guy, and again, this guy's a staunch conservative, is done with this.
I voted for Donald Trump. I supported the administration policies 96% of the time the last two terms. But this party has to stand up for democracy first, for our Constitution first.
You know they're going to call you a rhino, even though obviously you're a very conservative Republican.
The definition of rhino has changed in the last couple of years. Rhino now is if you don't follow whatever the president decides. I'm a conservative. And yes, I will take abuse from both the far left and the far right. In my opinion, the extremes of both parties are dragging their parties and this country off a cliff.
I think so. As far as politics goes, I mean, we give too much power to politicians. They're going to destroy our entire. They're not going to destroy it. Trump is never going to destroy it. Biden is never going to destroy our country. If one person has the power to destroy our nation, we weren't worth what the thought was to build this nation. It's not going to happen. It isn't. But we've got to stop the divisiveness. And people don't want to sit down and talk anymore. It's like we were just talking about earlier. first thing that everybody wants to do when they try to engage is call you a horrible name. That is no way to engage in a conversation. You're not interested in a conversation. You're interested in yelling and screaming. You're not interested in having a conversation. And you know how I know I get through to people? Because I piss both sides off. But Chad, you're on the radio. You should be conservative. I will say this for the umpteenth time. I'm an independent. I care about the truth. I care about facts. I may want some things to be true, but the facts say otherwise. So you know what? That's what the truth is. We can't get past that. Because everybody's want to be right at all costs means that they're willing to forego all kinds of things like reason, facts, data, and allow emotions to run wild. Can't have it, kids. You can't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text the program. If you guys haven't heard, he said it.
Today, I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden. The President-elect is no stranger to the Senate. He's devoted himself to public service for many years. I also want to congratulate the Vice President-elect, our colleague from California, Senator Harris.
So, how long until he's done? That's the way we work nowadays. Oh, my goodness. No! He said it. How about you guys stop congratulating each other on this, that, and the other and start working towards figuring out how we're going to get the country up and running again, how we're going to, and by the way, that involves two pretty easy things. The first thing is governors, mayors, get out of small business way, get out of medium business way, get out of people's way. Well, Chad, what is that supposed to mean? Allow them to make a living. Allow them to earn. Allow them to build our economy stronger. Allow them to get back at it. Allow them to do what they should be doing. You can monitor. We don't want to overrun and overwhelm the healthcare system, but the last time I checked, no matter how hard we seem to be clamping down on everything, it doesn't seem to be working. But what does seem to be working is the ridiculous overreach of local governments that are killing small business. So it's time to say, man up, woman up, they up, because I don't want to offend anybody. Whatever pronoun you want to go with. Throw your damn mask on. Do the best you can not to spread any germs, corona or otherwise, and get back out there. It's coming. But learning to live with it, through it, and around it is something we're always going to have to do because this is endemic, not pandemic, which means it's probably going to be here for a while. And based on the fact that I keep hearing, well, it only may last 3 months, I got news for you. Let me fill everybody in because I don't know about you guys. I don't see Americans going back and getting shot after shot, month after month. I just don't. They may do some of it at first, but after a while, you better figure it out where it can be one little pill once every 90 days. Because if it's going back every 90 to 120 days and then going back a month after that, that's a tough road to hoe because I don't even think many people are going to go back for the second shot. But we need to get back out there because this kind of stuff.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business. What about my employees? You're not following the rules. I am following the rules. My tables are inside. Just because the health department has the whole process to go through that takes however long that takes, I have to close my business for that time? Are you going to pay my rent? Are you going to pay my rent? You chose to make.
No, he chose to open a business. He chose to take his own money and put himself out there. He chose to take an idea that he had and to do what? put his money and his ass on the line. That is the owner of the Nick the Greek restaurant, Anton Van Happen. He's telling everybody in Ventura, California, you guys need to get out here now. You need to get out here and start living your life. You need to get out here now. Every restaurant, open up. They can't do this to us. We're doing everything. We've bent over backwards. They told us we couldn't serve food inside, so we built something outside. Now they're telling us, based on zero science, that we can't even do that. Then they're telling us, well, you can do takeaway, but already they're mad at us because we did something that we didn't even know we did, so they're shutting us down. Enough is enough.
I never served one single person outside. I did all takeout food and delivery to what exactly I was supposed to be doing. That's exactly what I did. I did not break any, and there's not even a law, I did not break any rule.
There is a law that you're breaking right now by operating without a permit.
Because you guys put this closure on my restaurant.
Right. The restaurant is already closed. The permit has been suspended. However, your refusal to close warrants
because what am I going to do if I close? Are you going to pay my rent?
No.
No, that's not my job. I am a low-level bureaucrat with, you guys ready for this? Pension. Enough. If you're a grown adult, so let's say you're 35, right? Your husband or wife's about the same age, and you guys want to go and have dinner outside at a place. You're responsible. You're going to wear your mask, but eventually you're going to sit down and eat, and you're going to take your mask off. You guys have met, right? You're familiar with one another. And you want to go do that? I got zero problems with that. If you want to say, look, we're trying to stop the spread, we're going to limit to X amount of seats in certain areas, that's common sense right there because we're all trying to keep everything open. But this kind of stuff is insane. We've got food banks through the roof. They're trying to figure out how to put $16 billion aside for food banks to cover people who are starving for a lot of different things at this moment in time. No food. A year ago, they would have said, never going to happen. But yet it's happened. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We all want to get back to where we were, and we will. But some of that is the fact that we, you and I and everybody else, small business, medium-sized business, even big business, is going to have to take responsibility and the reins over and get our asses out there working. That's why when they talk about who should get the shot first, healthcare workers, absolutely. Teachers, 100%, followed by first responders like the police and, yes, guards and the average person who's working, who's out there in society day to day, because that's what's going to build us back to where we were and then some, because we want to get back there. We do. We need to. Well, what about the elderly? They've lived. We're not saying that don't give it to them, but we're saying at this point, if you're 87 and you're in a nursing home, I'm going to say this. It's going to sound awful, but I'll say it because other people won't, but people will think this. What are you providing right now at this moment in society to move us forward? Yeah. Not saying you don't give it, but I'm saying there's priorities. There is. And our priorities should be about moving us forward, not what's going to look good. And here's something else. For many people who are in nursing homes or elderly care facilities who are with it, my grandfather died about a month ago. He wasn't with it, but he was kind of with it at the beginning of this. But I'll tell you what, we haven't asked a lot of them. Hey, should we do this? They'll probably tell you, I'm not doing anything for society right now. Other people need it more than I do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. MyPillow. Hey, can't get the vaccine, get a MyPillow. Great night's sleep's going to help out too. A little vitamin D doesn't hurt, but rest is always nice. Best time right now. Cross off those loved ones. Last moment gifts. MyPillow's it. Great night's sleep. Now, the MyPillow is $29.98. Normally it's $70. King size is $5 more. Made in the USA. Will not go flat when you sleep. Washable, machine, dryable. And if you buy right now, Mike is going to extend the 60-day money-back guarantee well into March 2021. So how do you get it? You go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, use the promo code Benson. You're going to find all kinds of amazing offer and deals. Grab them, the Giza sheets, the mattress topper. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
The Vanderbilt football staff has this whole time has been if I can do it, if I'm good enough to do it. It wasn't if I was a girl or not. So that's something I've really appreciated. At the end of the day, they treated me like an athlete, and that's the best I could ask for.
That's Sarah Fuller. She kicked an extra point.
I was just super excited when we got that touchdown. I was just ready to go out and roll, and the guys were super pumped up and encouraging. So I was very excited to get out there and finally do what I've been training for the past few weeks.
She's 6'2". She's the goalie on the Vanderbilt women's soccer team. And she kicked an extra point. She's the first female to score in so you have the Power 5 conferences. Those are the big conferences. You have the Pac-12. Not really great. You have the Big Ten. Pretty good. Well, basically it's Ohio State. You have the Big 12. It's hit or miss. Oklahoma, maybe Texas once in a while, but then you have the ACC, which is Clemson, and then right now Notre Dame, and then of course you have the SEC, which is where Vanderbilt is. And that's it. She's over. Her career's done. And look, great that she did it, but I was just telling the guys because when they first talked, they made her the SEC. This is the wokeness of the world. They made her the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week last week. She did a squib kick of 30 yards. I don't know what they're going to do. They may give her the Heisman based on this. Oh, Chad, that's not very nice. Could you kick? Yeah, I could kick an extra point. Probably with both my feet. And I'm 50. And by the way, there was another guy on the team who had a 39-yard field goal, and I think he missed a 50-yard field goal. I don't know why she didn't take those. I mean, if we're doing this, let's do it, right? But it's over because Vanderbilt is they're not going to play this weekend, and they're done. And they were awful, but that has nothing to do with her. It didn't. I would be worried are you being used? I mean, it's great. Look, I got no problems with it. If she could hit a 70-yard field goal, put her out there. Go for it. Zero problems. No problems whatsoever. Nobody should have problems with that. And if you have a problem with a woman doing something, I do have a problem when I feel like she's being used in such a way, which is what I think happened. Remember last week when this all happened, the day after, they fired their coach because he was awful. But part of that is, look, if you know anything, the SEC is a football conference. It is a football conference. They only have school as a way to break up practice. That's what the SEC, Alabama, Roll Tide, right? War Eagle. I mean, that's it. And Vanderbilt is the Ivy League of the SEC. They're Smarties. Smarties don't win a lot. So, at the end of the day, great for her, but I felt like, you turned it into a woke moment when it should have been a good moment and good for her. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Holiday music is running away with it.
It's now officially a holiday tradition. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is number one on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. After hitting the top spot for the first time last year, released in 1994, it took 25 years to get to number one, and now it's happened 2 years in a row. And 'tis the season.
Feliz Navidad.
Jose Feliciano's classic Christmas tune, Feliz Navidad, is in the top 10 for the first time ever, 50 years after it was originally released.
Yeah. Aha! Just counting that money. All I Want for Christmas was written in 15 minutes. She sang it in August. Soak that in for a second. Smiling all the way to the bank every single year. Phil and I are working on our Christmas song for next year. We're going to debut. It's going to be Pretty amazing. But we're not going to record it until it's really hot. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet, text the program. Have a blessed day. It's Tuesday. That means you and I go eat tacos. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.